origin of Christianity is intimately connected with what then took place in the soul and spirit of that great apostle and righteous founder of the Christian faith, and that the knowledge and enlightenment which came to him was passed on to humankind through the medium of his flaming words and self-sacrificing deeds. In many other cases, it can be proved that primary causes and impulses, underlying events that happen during the historical unfoldment of human existence, cannot be identified with normal external occurrences, for their inception may often be traced to the hearts and souls of humanity. We are now about to consider an example of this very nature in connection with the personality of Elijah and the period in which he lived. Since my lecture must of necessity be both brief and sketchy in character, though treating of a subject covering so wide a field, the question as to how far the matter presented will elucidate and provide new evidence concerning the progress of human historical evolution in this special instance must be left for your further consideration, but your thoughts should at all times be guided by the deep promptings of the soul. The object of my discourse is not merely to supply information concerning the personality and significance of the prophet Elijah. Its true purport is at the same time to present an example of the manner in which spiritual science weighs and regards such matters, and by virtue of the means at its disposal, can shed fresh light upon facts connected with the growth and development of humanity, which have come to our knowledge through other sources. With this end in view, we will employ a special method in dealing with our subject. In the first place, statements that are the result of the investigations of spiritual science and have reference to the personality and significance of Elijah will be as independent as possible of all connection with the Bible as a source. And such references will be made only when they seem essential in connection with names and descriptions. We will therefore first endeavor to portray all pertinent events as they actually happened, and later draw attention to the manner in which they are depicted in the ancient biblical records. The occurrences will be set forth just as they are revealed by the researches of spiritual science, which researches have formed the basis of the various portrayals presented both in the lectures of this series and in others of previous years. A large number of my audience, who through long years of experience with the methods of spiritual science have gained confidence in its power and proved substantiality, will accept from the very first all that I propose to bring forward and regard it as trustworthy and as the result of conscientious investigation. This will be the case even though my subject must of necessity be treated in a somewhat sketchy manner, because an exposition involving detailed proofs would require many hours for its complete presentation. To those of my audience who have had no such experience, as I have mentioned, I would suggest that they look upon all that is said concerning the authentic historical narrative that I am about to unfold as if it were in the nature of an hypothesis, underlying which is a substratum of positive evidence. I am certain that if they will but do this, and make a reasonable and understanding attempt, in moderation and without prejudice, to obtain the required evidence, all my statements will ultimately receive entire confirmation. What now has spiritual science to say concerning the personality and significance of the prophet Elijah and his period? To understand this, we must go back in thought to those ancient Hebrew times, when the brilliant epoch that marked the reign of Solomon was past, and the kingdom of Palestine was enduring many and varied forms of privation. We must recall the troubles of the Philistines and other similar incidents and transport ourselves in mind to those days when all that formerly constituted a united and centralized monarchy was divided into the separate kingdoms of Judah and Israel, and King Ahab, who was the son of Omri, reigned in Samaria. Here we have found an opportunity to introduce biblical names, but we have done so merely for the sake of clarity and corroboration, as will often be the case as we proceed.